In today's video, we're going to take a look at the third generation Mustang. Produced from 1979 through 1993, it's commonly referred to as the Foxbody because it was built on the Foxbody platform. The car evolved over time, going through several different submodels, and then one big revision in 1987 before almost being killed off. Production ended in 1994 with the introduction of the SN95, but that's for later. For now, let's get into all things Foxbody. The 1979 model Mustang is the first Mustang based on the Fox platform. This chassis was Ford's initiative to build a one-size-fits-all car. The platform served as a two-door sports car and a four-door family car. It was first put to use on the Ford Fairmont and Mercury Zephyr, introduced in 1978. Body styles for the Mustang included a two-door coupe and three-door hatchback. 3 different trim levels were available: the base model, the more luxurious Ghia, and the Cobra model. The wheelbase was 5 inches shorter than the Fairmont Zephyr series at 100.5 inches, but 4 inches longer than the Mustang II it replaced. New was the 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, rated at 132 horsepower. Also new in mid-1979 would be the 3.3-liter inline 6 and the 5-liter V8. The 5-liter V8 was a carryover from the Mustang II, with the exception of a new single serpentine belt rather than the separate belts for different devices that it replaced. The suspension was changed. It now used modified McPherson strut suspension. The rear axle used a 4-point mounting system and coil springs rather than leaf springs. A rear stabilizer bar was added with the V8 engine. If you ordered a set of Michelin TRX tires and TR390 forged wheels, you also got a suspension tuned to the tire wheel combination.
You're about to see a whole new breed of Mustang. Presenting the all-new '79 Mustang from Ford. Dramatic sports car styling. One of the most efficient aerodynamic designs of any car now built in America. Feel it slice through the wind. With precise handling from sports car features like a modified McPherson front suspension to help flatten corners. Mustang performance from options of V6, V8, even a turbocharged engine. And with all this, Mustang is sticker priced to help you bring one home in 2-door or 3-door models. Capture the new breed of Mustang for '79 at your Ford dealer now.
The Ghia option, which was available as a coupe and as a hatchback, was as luxurious as ever and sported a distinctive Ghia insignia on the rear deck lid or third door depending on the configuration. The 3-door versions also had Ghia exclusive color keyed window frames, louvers, and dual remote mirrors, with bright belt and rocker panel moldings accented with pinstripes. The Cobra appearance package featured a black grille, trim, and moldings, as well as black lower body paint. The door handles, door locks, antenna, and roof drip rail were bright. Color-coordinated dual pinstripes in the wraparound body style moldings and bumpers, as well as Cobra decals on the doors, were all standard. All 1979 Cobras came equipped with a small center-mounted non-functional hood scoop. This was added to provide clearance for the turbo's extra height. The Cobra hood decal was optional for 1979. Rear spoilers were not included on the '79 models.
There's going to be a new breed of Mustang to pace the Indy 500 this year. Hello, I'm Jackie Stewart, and this is the beautiful '79 Mustang from Ford. With its exciting aerodynamic styling and a wide choice of engines and personal options to satisfy just about every driver's needs. Precise handling, flat cornering, and an excellent driving position. I'll be driving this specially modified Mustang to pace the Indy 500, and you can buy this beautiful limited edition version of the Indy Mustang at your local Ford dealer.
The Ford Mustang was chosen as the official pace car of the 1979 Indianapolis 500, so Ford released a mid-year Indy 500 pace car version. All were finished in two-tone pewter and black with orange and red graphics. The front end featured a unique front air dam with fog lights and a full-length cowl-type hood scoop. A new rear spoiler was also introduced. The black interior featured Recaro seats with patterned black and white inserts. Available engines included a 2.3-liter turbo with a 4-speed manual transmission or the 5-liter V8 with either a 4-speed manual overdrive or a 3-speed automatic transmission. The production cars included a sunroof, however, the 3 actual Pace cars were fitted with T-tops. 10,479 Pace cars were produced. 1979 Mustang sales topped 369,000 units, a huge jump from the prior generation of cars.
The car, the 1980 Mustang. The place, Ford's Test Track, Dearborn. Mustang proves itself a sports car for the 80s. The U.S. Auto Club tested Mustang for acceleration, for cornering, for steering response, for braking, for overall driving performance. The result, Mustang is certified by the U.S. Auto Club as a sports car. Sports car performance, impressive fuel economy. That's Ford Mustang, a sports car for the 80s.
The Mustang for 1980 was mostly a carryover year, with models and trim levels remaining consistent. However, the driveline saw some changes. The 5-liter small block V8 was replaced with a lower horsepower 4.2-liter V8. It was rated at 118 horsepower. It was mated to a 3-speed automatic transmission. The 132 horsepower turbocharged 2.3-liter inline 4-cylinder engine remained and was the high-performance engine. Other changes: the front grille was restyled, the Ford logo was moved to the top of the front fascia, minor changes in the 1980 interior were made, including the addition of high back bucket seats for base models. The Recaro bucket seats from the previous year's Pace car package were also kept as an option. Electronically, the car came equipped with halogen headlamps. The 1980 Cobra saw the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine available with an automatic transmission. However, the 4-speed manual was still standard. The Cobra borrowed from the 1979 Pace car using the grille, hood treatment, lower front air dam, and rear lip spoiler. Overall, Ford produced 271,000 Mustangs in 1980. 1981 was yet another carryover year. The powertrain list remained unchanged. Most of the options remained unchanged. The standard tires became a 13-inch, which was an upgrade over the standard 12-inch in the base. The T-top was an available option, and a new model was offered, the S Coupe. This is a bare-bones car that was priced just a bit under the base model. 1981 did see the end of the Cobra mid-year. The turbocharged 4-cylinder engine was discontinued, leaving only the 4.2-liter 120 horsepower V8. 182,000 Mustangs were produced in 1981.
You will find many things in the Arizona desert. What you will not find is mercy. This is where Ford tested the acceleration of Mustang GT against Camaro Z28. Mustang GT's 5-liter high-output engine and performance suspension blew Camaro right into the shadows in 7.3 seconds. And Mustang GT became the dominant species. From a place where few survive, the boss is back.
1982 sees the return of the Mustang GT. Ford advertises proudly, "The boss is back." The new GT model features a re-engineered 157 horsepower, high-output Windsor 302 5-liter V8. The engine had new valves and an exhaust system. The Tremec 4-speed manual was the only available transmission in the car. The GT included the front air dam with fog lamps and the rear spoiler from the 1979 Pace car and the 1980 and 81 Cobras. However, the full-length hood scoop from those models did not carry over, and the smaller 1979 Cobra hood scoop made its return. Only 4 colors were offered on the GT model. They consisted of black, bright red, that was a mid-year introduction, dark red, and silver. The 302 was available on lower trim models, Ls, GLs, and GLX. It also formed the basis for the Special Service Package cars. They were used by government as well as police and law enforcement. If an automatic transmission was ordered in 1982, the 5-liter was replaced with the 4.2-liter, which carried over from 1981. Ford altered the Mustang model lineup. Gone were the Cobra, Ghia, and S. The Ford new models are named the L, GL, GLX in either Cooper hatchback, and the GT, which is only offered in hatchback form.
From the furnaces at Ford, it's Mustang GT, the boss for 1983. Hot new styling. New 4-barrel carburetor, a 5-liter high-output engine. The boss, the 175 horsepower Mustang GT. One hot piece of American steel.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
For the 1983 model year, most of the Mustang was carried over. However, there were some changes and improvements. The front fascia was restyled. There were new, wider horizontal tail lamps with dedicated amber turn signals. This was also the first Mustang to use the blue oval Ford emblem on the exterior, both front and rear, and Ford added a convertible to the Mustang lineup for the first time in a decade. Driveline changes included the new 3.8-liter V6 Essex, and the small block 5-liter V8 received a 4-barrel carburetor and a new intake manifold. That brought horsepower up to 175. The 2.3-liter 4-cylinder turbo also returned mid-1983, now fuel-injected and producing 145 horsepower. 1983 also saw the introduction of the T5 5-speed transmission and the automatic overdrive 4-speed automatic transmission. 120,000 Mustangs were produced in 1983. For the 1984 Mustang model lineup, the GL and GLX were dropped, leaving the L, GT, and Turbo GT. Ford also had some new additions, the LX and the SVO. Ford recognized the 20th anniversary of the Mustang with a GT 350 appearance package. This was added to GTs and Turbo GTs. A total of 5,261 GT 350 hatchbacks and convertibles were built. All were trimmed with Oxford white exteriors and canyon red interiors. They featured GT 350 rocker stripes and tri-bar pony emblems on the front fenders. Two 5-liter V8 engines were available, a carbureted version with manual transmissions or a new 165 horsepower electronically fuel-injected engine with the automatics. A new quadra-shock rear suspension replaced the slapper bars with horizontally mounted axle shocks. This became available a few months into production. The new Mustang SVO appeared for the first time in 1984 and was produced through 1986. I released a video recently on these cars with a lot of detailed information. I also purchased one earlier this week. If you're a fan of the SVO, please refer to that video and consider subscribing, as there will be a lot more content on these cars appearing on my channel in the near future. In 1984, Ford produced 141,000 Mustangs. For 1985, the front fascia was restyled with a grilleless nose and a horizontal air intake slot. The Mustang GT received new E5AE cylinder heads, a revised Holley 4-barrel carburetor, and a new, more aggressive roller camshaft that was only in models with the manual transmission. Less restrictive exhaust manifolds were added, and a pseudo-dual exhaust, all of which raised the horsepower to a rated 210. This would be the last carbureted V8 in the Mustang. Also in 1985, Ford dropped the L and Turbo GT, leaving the LX, GT, and SVO models only. The LX was now the base trim and was available in a coupe, notchback, and convertible. The 2.3-liter was the standard engine, with the 3.V6 reserved for convertibles. The GT was available in either a notchback or a convertible. Engine options were unchanged. New were the 15x7 aluminum wheels. Goodyear Gatorback tires came standard on the GT. Over 156,000 Mustangs were sold in 1985.
Get out, got to get away. Find a Mustang, it's a Mustang kind of day. Got the feeling in the right groove. Got to Mustang attitude. Got to get out, got to get away.
Now get 6.9 financing or $300 cash back direct from Ford.
The 1986 Mustang was mostly a carryover. However, Ford released the first multi-port fuel-injected 5.0-liter V8 rated at 200 horsepower. And those cars equipped with a 5-liter saw drivetrain upgrades, including a new 10.5-inch clutch and a 8.8-inch rear differential. The rear center high mounted brake light was now mounted on the now standard rear spoiler for hatchbacks and inside the bottom of the window on a coupe. It was located on the luggage rack on convertibles. LX models could be ordered with either the 2.3-liter 4-cylinder, the 3.8-liter V6, or the 5.0 V8. Ford sold over 224,000 of those Mustangs in 1986, and some of that was due to the Mustang that never happened. Now, some of this is speculation on my part. Somewhere between 1983 and 1984, Ford began to believe that the Mustang had lost its place in the market. Sales weren't exactly spectacular. Yes, they were selling over 100,000 units a year, but it was nowhere near the almost 300,000 they'd sold in 1979. Someone in management believed that this was due to the fact that it was a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and the logical solution to this was to make it front-wheel drive. That solution would be a Mazda-derived Mustang. Ford would work with Mazda to produce a new front-wheel drive two-door car that they would call the next generation Mustang. Now, the Ford enthusiasts got wind of this, and to say that the reaction was not great would be quite an understatement. They started writing letters. And back then, you couldn't just email Ford or post it on their Facebook page. You had to sit down and type something out or write out a letter and send it in. Mustang fans sent hundreds of thousands of letters. This gave Ford pause. They listened, and they still made that front-wheel drive car. It's now called the Probe.
Captain, we are being probed.
If I had to name a car line, it wouldn't be Probe, pretty sure. Either way, the world got a refreshed Mustang in 1987. So let's take a look at that.
This is the new Ford Mustang GT. With its unmistakably new body surrounding an equally dramatic 5-liter port fuel-injected engine, it's easy to pick out the Mustang GT from a crowd. Not that it's likely to be in one. This is the new Mustang GT.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
1987 brings an entirely new look for the Mustang. The interior and exterior of the car are redesigned. The front end is restyled with an aero look. The interior received an all-new dash, center console, and revised seat and door trim. The models are now pared down to LX and GT only. Taillights in the LX were revised with clear lenses for the turn signals, while the GT now wore specific body-colored triple louvered lenses. The quarter glass windows lost their louvers and now sported a single large flush piece of glass lettered with Mustang at the bottom rear corners. The GT models featured new round fog lamps and gained an aerodynamic lower body side skirting, as well as new turbine-style 15-inch wheels. The V6 option was discontinued, while the 2.3-liter four-cylinder gained fuel injection, leaving only the 2.3-liter four-cylinder and the V8 as engine options. V8-powered Mustangs received E7TE heads and forged aluminum pistons with valve release in 1987. Power ratings increased to 225 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Car and Driver magazine stated, and I'm going to quote here, "For 1987, Ford squeezed another 25 horsepower out of its port fuel-injected 5-liter V8, bringing the total to 225. Thanks to all that hoof power, the GT explodes out of the hole and doesn't look back until it reaches 137 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour flashes by in just 6.3 seconds, and the quarter mile is digested in 14.7 seconds at 94 miles per hour. Ford sold 169,000 Mustangs in 1987.
Mustang GT, for people who want more out of life than a little peace and quiet.
There were no major changes seen for 1988, although the T-top roof option for hatchbacks was discontinued mid-year. Sales, however, were up 25%, with Ford selling over 210,000 Mustangs in 1988. The Mustang LX 5-liter continued to do well in sales due to its bang-for-buck performance credentials. For 1989, the Mustang Speed Density computer system was replaced with a mass air system. This change slightly reduced factory horsepower, but it made Mustangs much easier to modify. With the mass air system in place, changes made to the intake, engine, and exhaust system would be recognized and compensated for by the ECU, resulting in correct air-fuel ratio and optimum power. 1989 was also the 25th anniversary of the Mustang, so Ford placed a small passenger-side dashboard emblem with a galloping horse logo affixed to it to all models built between the 27th of March 1989 and the end of the model year 1990. Car and Driver tested a 1989 Ford Mustang LX 5-liter and turned 0 to 60 times of 6.2 seconds and a quarter-mile time of 14.8 at 95 miles per hour. Ford sold 209,000 Mustangs in 1989. In 1990, Ford added a new steering wheel to the Mustang. It featured an airbag and a revised lower driver's side panel with a knee bolster. This change meant that the tilt steering wheel had to be discontinued. Both the LX and GT received 140-mile-an-hour speedometers. A limited run of 5.0-liter equipped LX convertibles, all painted emerald green metallic with white convertible tops and Oxford white leather interiors featuring GT seats and 15-inch turbine alloy wheels, were produced for an NCAA half-court shot contest sponsored by the soda brand 7-Up. The event was canceled shortly before it was scheduled to begin, and Ford, having already produced 4,103 of these vehicles, released them for dealer availability. These became known as the 7-Up Mustang. Revamped interior quarter panels for the 1990 model did away with the side armrests for rear seat passengers, but gained large speaker panels. Door pockets and clear coat paint also became standard for 1990, along with the availability of optional leather seat trim. Sales were down in 1990, with Ford selling only slightly over 128,000 cars. The 1991 Mustang saw minor changes. The 2.3-liter engines got a boost in horsepower from 88 to 105. This was due to a revised cylinder head. Both the GT and LX 5-liters received new 5-spoke wheels. A revised roof for the convertible allowed the top to fold closer to the body. Base model prices exceeded $10,000 for the first time, and sales continued to drop. Ford produced only 98,000 Mustangs in 1991. 1992, a recession was wrecking the American economy, and car sales were down across the board. The Mustang had not been updated since 1987, so mid-year, Ford decides to roll out some special editions. A limited edition feature car is an LX 5-liter convertible with a vibrant red paint, white wheels, and a white leather interior. Door trim, window trim, and door mirrors were all color-keyed, and a special deck lid spoiler replaced the luggage rack. Inside, the white leather seats were contrasted with black piping, a black dash, black carpet, and a black headliner. Ford sold just 79,280 units for the model year. In 1993, Ford switched to cast pistons for all 5-liter engines. This lowered horsepower to 205 and torque to 275 foot-pounds. The black bumper rub strips and side moldings on LX models are now body-colored. For 1993, the limited edition models feature a chrome yellow exterior and a black or white leather interior, or a vibrant white exterior with white leather interior. On a bright note, the Ford SVT division is established in 1993, and they released the Ford Mustang SVT Cobra. It was offered with a 5-liter V8 that produced 235 horsepower and 285 foot-pounds of torque. The Cobra used Ford's new GT40 high-performance engine equipment. It featured a restyled front valance, unique 17-inch spoke aluminum alloy wheels, a rear wing, and Cobra badges. The SVT Cobra is not available with an automatic transmission. Car and Driver ran a 0 to 60 time of 5.6 seconds and crossed a quarter mile in 14.3 seconds at 98 miles per hour. A Cobra R models produced for 1993. It featured larger brakes, Koni shocks and struts, an engine oil cooler, a power steering cooler, and rear seat delete. Options such as air conditioning and a stereo system were not available on the Cobra R. Ford sold 114,000 Mustangs in 1993. Production of the third generation Mustang concluded in September of 1993. Now, Ford built over 2.6 million Foxbody Mustangs. And while it's kind of common knowledge that Ford almost killed off the rear-wheel drive front-engine platform and made the Mustang into what eventually became the Probe, it's also a commonly held belief that Ford didn't do this because they listened to their customers. That's half the story. One of the big reasons why we got the SN95, the front-engine rear-drive Mustang, was some of those at Ford felt they could do this on a limited budget. Ford spent $700 million and 36 months developing the SN95, the car that would replace the Foxbody. And that sounds like a lot of money, and it is, until you consider they spent $6 billion and 6 years developing what would become the Ford Contour. Some would say the SN95, the car that replaced the Foxbody, is a Foxbody. Its underpinnings are the same. And I would agree with those folks. The thing is, that was a complete and comprehensive refresh done on a budget by people that liked the Mustang. They wanted a front-engine, rear-wheel drive car. They wanted to continue the heritage that Mustang had had over the last 30-odd years. So for that, thank you. It's appreciated. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That way other people can see it. Also, if you like Ford-related content, please consider subscribing. That's always appreciated. If you jumped into this video looking for the SVO, I did a deep dive on those videos. You can find that video right over here. Also, I just purchased an SVO, so if you're looking for SVO content, maybe you consider subscribing. There's going to be a lot of that coming up. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you.